I'm born and brought up in South Greenland. In this part of the country, we have a strong tradition of sheep farming, almost like here on the Faroe Islands. In South Greenland, we are also noticing the changes in the climate, but to us, the changes do not mean the same kind of challenge as it does for our fellow hunters in North Greenland. We are actually in South Greenland now having a longer growing season for our crops. That is a benefit for all of us in Greenland, because we can now almost grow all the vegetables and potatoes we need in Greenland. Because one of my friends used to say, potatoes have saved many human lives. And the pastures and fields for winter fodder production become more productive, ensuring a continuous production of sheep meat for the domestic market. At the same time, increasing sea temperatures seems to open up for the reintroduction of cod fisheries in Greenland, mostly in South Greenland. Many villages and towns in South Greenland are seeing this as an opportunity to reinvigorate a part of the local economy which dived when the cod stock disappeared due to the declining sea temperatures during 1980s. When I look at Greenland and the other Arctic regions, I can see both challenges and advantages in relation to the climate changes. The dominating political current in Greenland these years is aiming a more political independence from Denmark. In 2008, this year, we expect to end negotiations with Denmark on an extended home rule for Greenland. One of our achievements in the coming agreement will be full Greenlandic control of our resources, both renewable and mineral resources. The climate change has already opened new areas for the exploitation of mineral resources, and the ice cap, as the ice cap is retreating. And in combination with the political and economical control of our mineral resources, it will open new opportunities for Greenland to gain more economical and political independence from Denmark. But as I mentioned earlier, we are very close connected to our nature and therefore also very much focused on not just exploiting the mineral resources without considering the potential damage it will have on nature. We are compelled to protect our nature from being destroyed by short-sighted human activities. In a way, you can say the climate change in combination with the political desire for more independence is putting us in a luxury dilemma in the coming years. We have to choose on the one hand between unrestrained exploitation on our natural resources in order to gain more independence, and on the other hand, the protection of our nature, which is so dear to us, in order to maintain our cultural heritage on the shape of a close interrelationship between human activity and changes in the environment. For at least two reasons, I like the thoughts of philosopher John Stuart Mill, who lived in the 19th century. First of all, Stuart Mill includes at least a grain of unpredictability in his models. In an essay printed in 1952, the Spanish-Argentinian writer Luis Borges describes Stuart Mill's accept of a twist of unpredictability in his otherwise persistent argument of causality. In Borges' words, Stuart Mill says, "The future is inexorable, precise, but it may not happen. God lies in wait in the intervals. But the Western world, the unpredictable element is God. But long before God was introduced to the Inuit, we had through centuries incorporated the notion of unpredictability in our culture and our worldview and our way of living. We just call it something else." Secondly, Stuart Mill based his models on empirical observation, just like we Inuit prefer it. And regarding the question of choosing, in a discussion I had with Desmond Tutu in Norway some time ago, Desmond Tutu said we should have been responsible managers and we should have protected our wonderful, vulnerable planet Earth. But instead, we are wasting it away in thoughtless consumerism and ruthless exploitation. But we have a choice, he said. We have a choice between life and death. We have a choice between blessing and curse. Choose life, not death. Those were the words of Desmond Tutu. And one very concrete way of showing we choose life could be to create a fund managed by the UN, the World Bank, the EU, or the Nordic Council. This fund will have as its object to support adaptation activities forced by climate change. These adaptation activities are very much different from what we see in relation to certain natural disasters like tsunamis, hurricanes, and earthquakes. The natural disasters caused by the creeping climate changes must be dealt with in a different way. The natural disasters caused by the creeping climate changes must be dealt with by the international community in a new way, both philosophically and economically. In our language, in Greenlandic Inuit language, we have a word for weather or climate and the human mind. The same word says sila. So if you are not taking care of the weather, you must be out of your mind. Choose to keep on your mind. Thank you for your attention.